Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Congratulations. How are you feel right here in front? How are you feeling about getting that first win out of the way for the year?
I feel great. This is the right way to kick off 2024. It's going to be a big year for me and my brother Javid. Taylor was a good opponent. I definitely felt like I leveled up in there through the fight camp and the fight itself. Ultimately, I feel like I passed with flying colors, so I'm very, very happy.
Is there any pressure knowing this is the first fight of the year? I have to start out right, or do you not even think of that? Is that just something that we're thinking about?
I think it's something kind of you guys play into maybe. For me, every fight is life and death. It doesn't matter if it's end of the year, beginning of the year. Every fight is the next most important fight. I dedicated, the last 12 weeks of my life, I dedicated to this fight non-stop. And I think it kind of showed today in the fight. I put a crazy pace in there, and I was ready for every single puzzle that Lapilus put in front of me. So, I really take this serious. I have the right people around me. My brother's like a great mentor, if you will. Like, he's a step ahead of me always, guiding me through this. I got Dewey Cooper and Jake Shields. So I feel like I've got the best team behind me. All the guys, big shout out to Ali Abdulaziz, my manager / coach. Mondays and Fridays, we're always training together. And just all my training partners, too many to name. Special thank you to Ode Osborne in this fight. He was a perfect Taylor Lapilus southpaw, slick striker, So, I had a great camp.
What did you think of your opponent? Were there any surprises, or was it as you kind of thought he would be?
It was pretty much how I thought it would be, to be honest. It was actually pretty crazy how similar. I was telling my brother backstage, it was kind of like a simulation. Like, we've been doing all these simulations in camp, and it was like that, but obviously higher intensity, It was exactly how I thought, to be honest. I thought he would be difficult to get down in the beginning, and on the feet, I thought I would definitely get the better of him. I would be kicking him and jabbing him as I was. So there were no surprises in that regard. Like, game plan went pretty much exactly how we thought it would go.
What about your next fight? Do you have a game plan in mind of when you want to fight again, or who you would like to fight next?
Well, I don't have an idea of who I want to fight next, Let it be a step up, but regardless, it doesn't matter who it is, I'm constantly improving so much. I'm never worried about who it's going to be next. I'm just worried about improving myself when I get there. When it will be, let's see, I'm always ready. I'm always training hard. I'm always in shape. So whoever it is, they can all get it.
And seeing as this is the first part of the year, do you have any goals in mind for the rest of the year? Have you kind of thought about where you'd like to see yourself at the end of 2024?
Yeah, I've got one fight down in 2024. I'd love to have at least another 2 more. That would make sense. If I could be ranked by the end of the year, that would be nice. That's what I'm working towards. But like I said, man, I'm just so confident in my abilities. I know I'm going to get to the top of the mountain. It's just a matter of when, and it's just a matter of when the opportunity comes knocking, I'm ready to take it. So I focus on myself. That's one thing I did for this fight too. I stayed away from all the news, the Twitter, the comments and everything. My phone was pretty much on flight mode all fight week. I was just so focused on being in the moment, and in the fight itself is the most comfortable I ever felt in there. So I'm doing the right stuff, I think.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You mentioned out there at the cage the Basharat show. For you, in your own words, what is the definition of the Basharat show?
I think the Basharat show is you've got 2 guys who are 2 of the most complete fighters in the UFC, in the world of MMA. You want to stand up with us? No problem. We're going to pick you apart. You want to go to the ground? Okay, cool. We'll beat you there too. I feel like we are, the definition of this new age MMA where, I get asked all the time, like, you and your brother, are you guys strikers or are you grapplers? And I always struggle to answer that question. And I say both always because, today on the feet, I outstruck a legit striker and then took him to the ground and beat him on the ground. So I don't know. You guys tell me. You guys call it. I feel like we're complete MMA fighters. And the Basharat brothers are going to get some real good, entertaining fights always, high-paced action.
That's awesome. That's a great question to struggle on answering. But obviously you said you want to be ranked by the end of the year, and you do want to step up. So if it was completely up to you, the very next fight, top 15 in your head as a goal?
Yeah, I could absolutely fight a top 15 guy now. I feel like I'm absolutely ready. If I'm being completely honest, I thought Taylor Lapilus. I mean, he doesn't. This is his second stint in the UFC, but if I'm talking like caliber wise, I feel like Taylor Lapilus is definitely top 15 caliber. I feel like there's people in that top 15 he beats, and I beat him so handedly, 30-27. You know, this is if you look at Taylor Lapilus' record, he's 19-3. First fight he lost was when he was like 4-0, 5-0 to a weathered Dagestani guy at the time, and it was a good fight. Second fight he lost to Eric Perez in Mexico City, a Mexican. Third fight he split decision, close fight. Third fight he lost was to a Russian in Russia, split decision. So this guy is never really out there, you know, getting walked. I feel like today I walked him. Today I steamrolled him, you know. So it's the first time he's ever really lost a proper decisive fight.
Obviously, you put in a lot of work out here in Vegas, Extreme Couture. Nicholas Mota fought shortly before you. How cool is it for you guys to get wins like that close to each other?
Yeah, that was great. You know, me and Nicholas were boys. He's one of the funniest guys I know. So I'm very happy for him because I cornered him in his last fight against Trey Ogden. And that fight finished controversially, but, you know, it wasn't going his way. So, and we just had me and him, we talked a lot after that fight. And he ended up taking this fight on quick turnaround, and I couldn't be happier for him. He's such a good guy. He works hard, and I haven't seen his finish because I was warming up, but I saw the reaction and everything, and I couldn't be happier for Nicholas.
Obviously, fellow Extreme Couture fighter Sean Strickland defending his title next week. Nicholas said that Sean has gave him some good advice. Has Sean ever gave you or your brother a good piece of advice?
No, I wouldn't say he's given us any good advice. We've had some funny conversations back and forth, but I wouldn't say from the top of my head, I can't recall any good advice.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
And I know we see your brother here. If you can, just sort of give me a breakdown prediction of his upcoming fight against Zahabi.
Needless to say, I think he's going to win, but specifically, Javid he's a nightmare to fight. As somebody who's done over 10,000 rounds with him, and I share the cage with him in training all the time. He's the toughest guy to go up against that I've felt. Like I've been with all the top bantamweights and featherweights in the world. He's the most awkward, the toughest to get in there with because of his style, his range, his gas tank, his well-roundedness. I think he's definitely going to get the finish, and I can never say if it's going to be a knockout or a submission because I feel like that comes down to our opponents. It depends on where they want to take the fight. You know, if they want to force the grappling, Javid will finish him in the grappling. If they want to force the striking, Javid will finish him in the striking. But Javid is a killer. Javid is, if you look at his record, he's got I think he's 15-0 with 12 finishes. So if there's one difference between me and Javid that you could say, I would say he's got that little bit more predator mindset where he just comes for the kill. So Javid is very dangerous.
I just have a follow-up. You said that you didn't get any good advice. Did you get any terrible advice that you could share with us?
No, I didn't mean it like that. You know, you guys know what Sean is like. I just meant there's a lot of funny banter going on. What I meant was no advice worth mentioning off the top of my head. But nothing against Sean.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Like you mentioned, you and your brother just being well-rounded, diverse. I was surprised. I know you weren't, but I still had to ask how comfortable you looked with the wrestling. That was just like a grappling clinic you put on right there.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, so I've been in Vegas for like 2 years now, and initially I think when I first came to Vegas and my brother and I started entering the Dana White Contender Series / UFC scene, we were kind of perceived to be as like striking only type of guys. And I mean, as you can see now, like we can legitimately wrestle and grapple, and that's largely thanks to Jake Shields. You know, we work with him very closely. And I train with a bunch of good wrestlers, you know, and shout out to my wrestling coach all the way back from London, and Andrea Tauci. He's the best wrestling coach, you know, I've had in my career. You know, he's excellent. So you can see from my wrestling, you know, I can wrestle, you know. I don't have the pedigree behind me. I'm not no state champion or, you know, Dagestan national this, that. So, but I can wrestle, you know. So, yeah, we're always improving, me and Javid, and don't be surprised with you know, we're always evolving. That's why our opponents can never catch a beat on us.
I can't wait for the evolution to continue because that was fantastic. And I also was impressed that you had you know, obviously the fight in the bag, but you didn't coast. You still went for that submission. How close was that? It looked like a Dars you had.
Yeah, I think it was Anaconda. I felt like it was close. maybe I should have adjusted, but the reason I didn't adjust was because there was so little time left, and I wanted to just roll the dice. I wanted to, I didn't want to lose time adjusting, but I went for it, and I thought I was gonna get it, and that would have been great. But yeah, I've got some real submissions in my arsenal. I thought I was gonna get that, but hey, he's tough. Had it been around 4, needless to say, I think I definitely would have finished him. I feel like he was slowing down crazy, and I was just building and building and getting into my stride, if you will.
In a couple months, they're going to see in Miami that rematch. Just your opinion, your thoughts, maybe an analysis real quick on that Cheeto and Sean O'Malley, fight 135.
Cheeto and Sean O'Malley, if I'm thinking about it right now from the top of my head, I would have to say I think Sean's improved. Sean's a bit cleaner. I think Sean's going to get it. Cheeto can make it rough. Ultimately, I think Sean is probably too clean for him. I'm going to go for O'Malley. I think O'Malley wins.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. And last for me, how great is it? Motivating, driven, just keeps that fire going. You and your brother both being talented, carving out a legacy. Coach Dewey Cooper, obviously former Strikeforce champ with Jake Shields. Ngannou has his big fight in March. Like, how great is it to just be surrounded by so much talent and knowledge and just the students of the fight game?
Yeah, exactly. Like, for me, first of all, I'm a big fan of the sport. I knew about Jake and doing all these guys before I ever came to Vegas, So, and I'm like initially, especially, now we're cool and everybody. Initially, I was kind of like a fanboy almost. Like we're in these sessions together. I'm on the pads with Dewey or like training with Jake, but I'm kind of like a fanboy. So, but I'm just so grateful, to be honest, And with me and Javid, it's like, like where we've come from, where our families come from, like it's a crazy story, and not too many people make it from where we've come from. There's millions of kids who never made it, and here we are, like doing something as crazy as MMA at the highest level, the UFC, and I'm so proud. I'm so proud of us, to be honest, and I'm very grateful for the team that we have around us, because I call it the dream team, because from as soon as we came to America 2 years ago, me, Javid, Jake, Dewey, that's been the core team. That's who's always cornering, and we got other guys in the back too. But us four, we've been with each other now for 2 years and just undefeated, and inshallah it'll stay like that.
And this dream team to be able to help you give other people that dream, people from your corner of the world to be like, yeah, you can do it. It's crazy to have this dream, but come with us. We did it. Why can't you?
That's exactly it. That's the reason. That's the reason. It's a big motivation for us. I even said in my post-fight interviews, like me and Javid, we represent all you Afghans, because we're not like some far away. You can relate to us. We never came up we weren't born into like whatever, the upper class or anything like that. We were born in the villages. We lived in the refugee camps. We've lost countless people to the war, like millions of Afghans have. So I feel like people can relate to us, and it's just Afghans have so much talent. We've been unlucky the past few decades, but I feel like it's time that we can start making things happen, and not just in MMA, not just in sports, all over the world. We're some of the most gifted people on the planet, and I just want to inspire. I just want to push Afghans to keep doing great things.
Excellent. Thank you, sir, for that, and shout out to the Dream Team.
Thank you. Thank you. 12-0, baby.